Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and today we're doing King's Choice, and it's a mobile game where you do like medieval, where you're like a queen doing medieval stuff, just trying to keep your empire afloat. So, alright, so yeah, so I finished the sound test, and we're gonna continue with the main plot of the story. Now that I have enough resources for that. A few days after the failed negotiations, you receive a war declaration on Aves the Throne Usurper. War is afoot. Like if you're not up to date, Aves is like the guy that like murdered the main character's father and brother and took your throne. So then you have to like start your little empire from scratch with a few loyal knights. Your Highness, please send me to the battlefield. My friend, please send me. Victory will be ours. Your Highness, Kevin is the throne usurper's son. He might betray us in battle. The general is of the utmost importance, and I must choose wisely. Oh yeah. Like last time, in the previous time I streamed this, I like ranted about like the sort of history of like the old kings and whatnot. And then I started telling you about how about the meaning behind Michelangelo's David. That David was basically represented the state of Venice, standing up to the Goliath that was the Vatican Rome. Because like in the medieval times, like while the rest of Europe was like unified and whatnot, Italy was still stuck in medievalism because it was like completely fragmented with lots of little city-states fighting each other and whatnot. And then of course like the entire game changed completely when Europe started exploring and whatnot, and then they discovered the Europeans discovered, well then again the European monarchs, they discovered warm water because like when I went on a trip to Mexico like with my family like a long time, like a few years ago, we would also go on tours and whatnot, and then one of the tour guys was like talking about Quetzalcoatl, and then what they told us was that he was just the Quetzalcoatl, the man that inspired the god, was actually like a Viking that ended up in that neck of the woods. So, you know that he was like a blonde guy with blue eyes, you know, and who knew a lot about medicine and whatnot. And since he helped out like the Aztecs and the Mayans like improve their civilization, over time he was deified. The same thing that happened with Imhotep, that like people only know Imhotep as like the mummy guy, you know, like the mummy with the mouth, but like the real Imhotep, or some nonsense like that. He was a medicine. He was a doctor, and he was also an architect. He even made like a little pyramid. So he became deified after that because his patients were like so thankful that he saved their lives and whatnot. So he wasn't like a creature that was a curse and whatnot. So the same thing happened with Quetzalcoatl. He contributed a lot to the society of like the ancient Mayans and the Aztecs and whatnot. He was like one of the few Europeans that didn't bring death, plague, and pestilence. He actually contributed to the society. He was made into a god and whatnot. But that like happened like almost like almost 200, like 2,000 or like 1,500 years ago. Like we're talking way, way, way back. But you know, like it's well documented that the Viking, that it wasn't like the Spanish who the like that the Vikings like were exploring the world before like the Europeans felt like doing that, and even like the Aztecs and the Mayans, they came like they went and they settled in Americas after like everyone like everywhere in the world, nobody's like humans just didn't sprout in random different locations and whatnot, you know. Like we all started in one small little location, like the Neanderthals and whatnot, and then we expanded outward because of food and cause the food ran out in wherever we're at. And then over time, since we adapted to the environments, then we ended up being and whatever. But that's but I'm getting ridiculously sidetracked. You must choose a general from among your men. Hmm. Okay, we got like the Tabor, Kervin, and Greg. Ah. What's the worst thing that can happen if I pick Kervin? Well, personally, I will go with Greg, but whatever. I'll pick the redhead guy and see how it goes. I choose Kervin. It is time you prove your loyalty, my friend. Your Highness, I always been nothing but loyalty. Don't worry, I'll prove my loyalty once again. And besides, since he's like the bastard prince of the final of like the enemy king, of course he's gonna know how his father sings. So maybe it might be useful strategic wise, and since you know how his father might move his troops and whatnot, so it might actually be an advantage, cause you know he knows all of his old man's tactics. So ideally he will know a way to like fight around that. At least that's the working theory. We'll just see how it goes. When the war was, Kelvin and Greg head to the front line. And then again, like Greg seems more like better using the field than like as a military guy, you know. And then I remember like in Tropico that they say that they made the most incompetent fighters, they make them generals so that they stay out of the way of like the real fighters. So that's another reason why I have started Kervin as my general. Just since I'm not too certain about his fighting skills, I just decided to just keep him out of the way and putting him in a position of power so he thinks he's being useful. The general leading the troops has been chosen and war is imminent, and you bid farewell to Kervin. This war is for glory, Kervin. Don't disappoint me. My dear friend, I will not fail, I swear, and I will make my contemptible father pay a painful price for his sins. Huh, Kervin, and if you're planning any treachery, know this, and I will stop at nothing to kill you. Greg, he's about to go into battle, and we can't doubt our comrades now. Yes, I believe Kervin will secure victories for us now. I'll just see how it goes. Oh yeah, just exploring like the world and whatnot. Like it's funny how like two different people tell like the same story differently and whatnot. Like another difference between the way that they teach in the country where I'm at, the story of the conquistadors landing in the New World and whatnot. Eh, like uh, like in the U.S., they teach that like, the conquistadors completely wiped out like the Mayan civilization and that there's no more Mayan and whatnot. But But then we go to Mexico, and then they're like speaking their own native tongue, and then they be like, where the hell did they get that the Mayan civilization has been wiped out? I mean, we're right here, you know? But that was what I was studying like high school, but like in the back in the early 2000s, you know, like the Europeans always wiped out everyone, and they no longer exist, and that's all you need to know about them. But yeah, but it's so convenient to just like pretend that like a civilization doesn't exist and whatnot. The long and short of it is that they really gotta update those high school textbooks from like the Stone Age. Like, I can't imagine a worse type of hell than reading The Crucible for like the 80th time. And also the Scarlet Letter. Like that's one that they read a lot. Like for you, if you're not familiar with like the Scarlet Letter, there's also like a terrible movie about it. Like it's basically the story. I'll tell you later. The war has begun, and every day you can't help but worry, constantly waiting for news from the battlefield. Your Highness, you should relax a bit and don't neglect your duties. My soldiers are fighting on the front lines. I am not in the mood. Rather than worried about it, you should bury yourself in duties of our Lord, and nothing like a bit of work to take your mind off things. Looking at the duties before him with a smile, and who says this is in a battlefield? Yeah, it's very important to busy yourself because, like, yeah, they're fighting in like the front line and whatnot, but you gotta like maintain the empire in case you gotta like recruit people again for more fighting. And the best way to have new people to be ready to fight is by having a healthy like a healthy economy, and like so that the local citizens are not like starving and whatnot. Yeah, you can't neglect it. Like every aspect of an empire is important for maintaining, cause like it's a delicate balance and all that. But then again, all I know about like empire building is just basically those silly little simulation games where you like pretend to like be a queen or a president in the weird simulation game I play in Tropical. Like Tropical 5, that's another one that I like live stream, you know. Like more than anything, I'm just giving like hard games a bit of a break, cause winning Dark Souls 3, it was a bit more of a chore than I remember. It was very exhausting. So then I'm gonna put the hard games on ice for a bit until I work up the energy to play Elden Ring. And then I already did like Elden Ring, the DLC back when it was hard. But I'll deal with it when I deal with it. We're here to like focus on like medieval stuff and whatnot. And I think it's the next scene. After with much effort put in by both you and your army on the battlefield, good news finally arrives. Your Highness, we received message from the front line. Our troops won the war. Fantastic, excellent. I chose the right general. Your Highness, there's something else to, and you must make a decision. Oh, that sounds ominous. Like it's interesting, like this game is more or less decently historical and whatnot for the most part, but But it tends to mix in there like historical people with like fictional characters. Like I saw him on the night. I saw that like one of the lovers that you can like recruit for like your little harem and whatnot. I saw that is the Hunchback of Notre Dame's La Esmeralda, the dancer maiden. Your troops defeated us, the throne usurper Sami. However, you must now face a tough decision. The report said that our troops had captured many prisoners, and how should we deal with them? Exchange for ransom, kill them all, pardon the captives. Well, technically, those soldiers were my father's former citizens. If we exchange them for ransom, we can get money or But and if we pardon them, we might get people. And if we kill them all, they might make me look like a tyrant. Decisions. Uh, I'm gonna go, well, yeah. It's not honorable to punish those who have surrendered. Your Highness, you're a saint. Or I'm insane, either way. Oh, that reminds me of something fun that I read about Italy's military history. That during those days it was common for since Italy for the most part didn't have like a big standing army. They used to just rely on mercenaries and whatnot. But then, since the mercenaries knew each other, whenever the lords would like fight each other, the mercenaries would just they wouldn't fight in earnest with each other. That they would just cause a ruckus here and there before going their separate ways to keep casualties at a minimum. Because at the end of the day, they didn't believe for the cause that they were fighting because most of the time they were just fighting because of like the petty nobles and whatnot. And even as far back as Carthage, the reason why I think his name was Hannibal. The reason why the king of Hannibal, why the king Hannibal, he lost the war against the Romans was because his country was heavily reliant on like mercenaries, and then when they ran out of money to pay the guys, the mercenaries they just turned around and went to loot the city of Carthage, and that's why Niccolo Machiavelli, when he was writing his crazy book, the Prince, he told he warned the Italians about why they shouldn't rely on mercenaries. Because the moment you run out of money, they twist their allegiance and then they go stab you with a pointy end. Because their only allegiance is to themselves. Your command, the majority of the prisoners were released. Your Highness, according to my informant, everyone is extremely grateful for your mercy. I don't know how many of these people will continue to fight. Regardless, they are grateful to you, and not only will us hate that, he'll never get his nobles in line again. Alright, so I chose right for a change. Yes, perhaps victory is within our grasp. But yeah, Like reading Machiavelli's The Prince is like a mandatory required reading whenever you take business 101 in college. So if you wanna know why your like business boss is like what to expect when you like go get a job this day, just read The Prince and then you will understand what the mentality of like the people being trained in order to like be businessmen in like the U.S. and whatnot. Like it boils down basically that you shouldn't reward people for doing their job right and like giving them and giving them intangible benefits, you know, like just like a cheap plastic trophy instead of a race. But the thing is that the prince is just basically a bunch of codes designed to tell you how to handle a situation when you're at war surrounded by enemies. And like first comes the prince, and then it comes the Republic of Levite, which is the sequel to the prince, which is the one that nobody reads. It's like once everything's come down and you got like your territory, then these are the measures that you're supposed to take and whatnot. But of course, everyone likes better the prince, where it teaches you how to be a super villain, medieval European style. And you gotta consider something about Machiavelli. He was like a nobleman that never stepped foot on the battlefield, like ever. And the only reason why he wrote that book was to like kiss up to the Medici. A few days, your troops defeat Aves again and claiming ultimate victory. Your Highness, you finally taken your revenge. Congratulations. My revenge will only be complete when Aves' head rolls off his neck. Your Highness, I'm sure you'll succeed. It's time to welcome back our knights. Well, let's have like the knights get a little bit of exercise and whatnot. But yeah, like I was telling you, oh yeah, like if you're having fun, don't forget to give like a like. Oh yeah. Machiavelli, the reason why he wrote The Prince and the Republic of Levi was that he was trying to get on the Medici's good side. And all he got for his effort was that the Medicis, like they tortured the guy for like a couple of weeks before getting bored. So that's where all of that led. So that's what. So that's the thing that he got for writing his little book. That was like his just desserts. And the long and short of it is that if you're not a cousin of the Medici, you're always gonna be on their bad side, regardless of what you do or say. After a victorious war, your troops return to your castle, accompanied by the sound of rejoicing crowds, and you welcome them with open arms. Welcome back, my heroes. We told you we wouldn't disappoint you. Our victory wouldn't have been possible without your blessing, Your Highness. Your Highness, I have proven my loyalty yet again. Alright, let's get those knights a little bit of exercise. But yeah, that's cool. I leveled up as a lord. I'm a lord level 3. There's a lot more levels to this, but at least that's gonna give me more resources to make my knight stronger one. Every little bit of improvement helps. And plus, as the more you advance in the game, the more little different added features get added here and there. It's not like other stuff that has everything unlocked at the beginning. Like in total, I saw over the top that this thing has like almost like 90 chapters. So But we are 51, so we're still nowhere near the end. But I think we're kind of like around the halfway point. But since like in every battle it starts costing even more and more resources. We'll see how long I can keep pushing through it to the plot of this game. But yeah. So yeah, I finished ranting about Machiavelli. And about why if you're doing like law school and why if you're doing like business in like the US, why they're gonna make you read that book, which teaches you how to like crush the soul and spirit of your workers and whatnot. I just mean like as but they're just like mean and whatnot. Like you are like those business like the teaching those evil business practices and whatnot. It's like they're acting as if one of your employees is not gonna go like crazy and like do what usually happens in whenever you push somebody too far. And then like people are wondering, oh my God, what could we have done to prevent this tragedy that we are so whatever. It's just terrible. Be nice to people. Do unto others what you wouldn't do to yourself and all that nonsense, etc., etc. But yeah, back to like medieval times and whatnot. But yeah, like the whole process of like becoming nice, it has like different stages. You start as a little squire, and basically the squire is like the little boy that helps the knight. That helps the knight like put on his armor and like he takes care he gets like the sword to the blacksmith and saddles a horse, because a knight can't do all of that by himself. Like you just try to like just buy yourself like an old old medieval armor and just try to put it on without any help, and then you will see why you will need to hire a little squire to help you get dressed in that armor. Because like those things be heavy and it has a lot of straps. Well, at least a chainmail is easier to put on because you just like wear it. But then again, chainmail isn't everything. But it's interesting because the chainmail, like the chainmail is designed to protect you against, for the most part, arrows and whatnot, and a little bit and a bit of, but not too much against slashing and swords and against slashing damage. But like the chainmail eventually was like the blueprint that eventually led to the creation of like the bulletproof vest. And I remember that in like Mythbusters or something, they were fooling around with a very old chainmail, and then they just shot bullets at it, and it turns out that that old medieval chainmail could stop modern day bullets, so that's cool. But as with everything, just first try it on a dummy before trying it on yourself, or even better, don't try it at home. You have organized a grand feast for your knights, and the atmosphere is jubilant with everyone basking in the glory of victory. Everyone is in cheerful spirits. Your Highness, the Throne Usurper has sent you a peace treaty. You said, oh, now you want to make peace now that you lost. Oh. Well, then again, we don't really know. I mean, we know that the Throne Usurper decapitated our father and whatnot, but we can only guess as to the reasons. I mean, we only see the effect and not the cause. Like, and like in the game, we're just, as a player, we're just assuming that our king and father figure was like just a normal person, and that he never did anything to like deserve getting assassinated by his friend and whatnot. But who knows? Like, who knows the real reason why he had to get stabbed with a pointy end? Or I mean, it could have just been like a classical. He got A because he wanted all of the nice things he had, but but we never know unless it's a plot finally spells it out for it. But the rest is just speculation. Though as lost a war, he sent you a peace treaty. He says he's willing to pledge his allegiance to you, and he even proposes to throw a celebration feast in the old castle. And what? He has information about your brother. What? Let's go to Tabby everything. Fight, 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 fight. So like the brother didn't die. Maybe he's like been rotting in a dungeon. At the style of the Man in the Iron Mask, where the real like that's a book that was written I think by the Alexander Dumas, like the same guy who wrote the Three Musketeers. Like I tried reading the Three Musketeers, but then again I probably was too young to make sense of the book because I tried to read it when I was like 7, and it was like, oh my god, this is so annoying. I like better the I don't know how the English title. I think the English title is probably The Lady of the Carmelas, but in Spanish it's La Dama de las Camelias, and it was written by Alexander Dumas Jr., like the son of the guy. While the father wrote about like musketeer. Like the funny thing is that musketeers, their name has the word musket in it. And in all of the musketeer movies that I had seen, I had never seen them not once shoot an actual musket. Like a musket is a type of gun. And most of the time they just like doing the little sword thing, with a little cute little rapiers, with like stabbing folks with a pointy and whatnot. I can just saw different levels of nonsense. The point is if you ever do like, but then again, they're probably just going on with the plot of the book. Maybe the Alexander Dumas didn't, in the book, he probably didn't like have his musketeers shoot actual muskets. Like now, actually, the battle takes like 700,000 troops. It's like really shipping away. But it's a good thing. But yeah, but I think we have enough resources to like to clear a decent number of chapters. But yeah, I like better the other book, or The Lady of the Carmelias. That is it's about this guy that he fell in love with like a courtesan, and then it's just the ups and downs of their little romancing, and all of the guys that were like courting her. But as soon as she got ill, they just left her there to like die, including the main character and whatnot. So which goes with the ancient saying that everyone loves you when you're like on the up and up, but as soon as you start smelling of poverty or death or illness, everyone runs for the hills, and all of your friends leave you there to die. Unless if you had like real friends, but at least in like the book world, that doesn't tend to like happen. But yeah, like in this game they have like Esmeralda as like a romance option, and then but I guess it kind of works, but cause the Hunchback of Notre Dame, the book was written in like the 1800s. But the time place of the Hunchback of Notre Dame is medieval times, so it works. So it works for this game. Even though the Hunchback and it's like a fictional character, But then again, everything is fiction in a way if you choose not to believe history. Everyone is astounded by the revelation contained in Aves peace treaty. Information about my brother, where is he? I had no idea. Abe says he'll reveal the information only if you visit him in person. This seems like a trap. My father never does anything out of the kindness of his heart. I need to find out what happened to my brother. But you don't want me to find him, Kevin? Alright then, but before we head out, we must prepare for any possible outcome. You nod your head, and after subduing the violent surge of emotions roaring inside your heart, you finally decide to visit us in the old castle. Like, I wonder what's gonna be the big twist. Like, if I had to guess, maybe the redhead guy doesn't want you to know. Maybe he's the one who killed our brother or something. But then again, you can kind of like guess the plot twist coming if once you read a lot. Like, not like, it's very rare for me to run into something that like genuinely surprises me. Like where I say, "Wow, I did not see that one coming." You know something that I did not see coming? The ending of Bloodborne, where like you turn into a squid. That's why it's important to play games without like looking at like guys and whatnot. That way you can get like surprised, because the first time you play something, that's when it's like nice and fresh. But if you start reading like up on the end, then you're not gonna see the surprise. And but then again, folks like to skip to the ending of the book in order to see if it has a happy ending. Because a lot of us don't want to get like emotionally invested in something that's just gonna have like an awful ending. A few days later, you prepare to head over to Aves Castle. Are you sure you want to go there, Your Highness? I am, and you know how important my brother is to me, Ian. Of course, but I can't stop worrying about you. You're putting your life in danger. Like, if I had a say in the matter, I would. Well, then again, I don't know what I would do. Like, if some sketchy supervillain had information on my missing brother, yeah, I will probably go there to, even if it's a trap. That's a nice thing that the main character cares about the fate of his brother and whatnot, because like a lot of like TV shows and books and movies, like the siblings just like get along. Well, they get along, they don't get along, and some of them even like flat out are trying to murder each other at the style of Devil May Cry. Like, the way I see it is that like it's a parent's duty to try to get their children to get along. Cause like like in the world is like it's bad enough that like everyone for the most part in the outside world is like trying to get you, and at least you should try to build like loyalty between like your brother or sister and whatnot. Even if you like hate each other's guts, at least get along well enough to be able to cooperate together in order to push ahead in life. Because like, there's more than enough enemies that you're gonna run into out there in the world, or just people that just do you wrong just because they can. You know, like your typical bully or middle management. That you know that there's no financial gain, and there's no financial gain or any benefit to be gained from like making your life miserable, but they just do it because they get a sick thrill out of it. Like the long and short of it is try to get along, and try to make your children get along, and it's best to like teach them to get along when they're young, because like once they get old, Like in general, it's just hard to like make friends the older you get, because like when you're small, the only agenda that a little kid has is food or play, But once people get older, they have different plans and motivations, and then it just becomes harder and harder to make new friends, because everyone's up to something or other. But yeah, but that's just nonsense. Okay, so let's go back to like the medieval stuff. Unless if there's another cutscene coming up. I'm already like down to 31 million to 131 million knights. Oh, so more little fighting in order to clear the stage. Let's see. Like it's interesting to know that the whole witch hunt thing started like around. Well, I don't remember like in all medieval books the whole killing of witches. It wasn't that common within the book. Yeah, you would kill the evil wizard, but for every evil wizard there was a Merlin. So in early medieval times, they had more tolerance for magic users, but it was later on when like the witch hunting and like the Inquisition really, really got started. I know, but I can assure you, I'll be careful. I am also confident you'll do an excellent job governing Nivel while I'm away. I left my my husband person looking after the kingdom. I promise I won't disappoint you, and please be careful, and I'll be here waiting for you. Ian takes one step closer and gives you a loving embrace. I pray for you every day, Your Highness. But yeah. Oh yeah, like in this game they also mention like the Malus Maleficarum book, which is a treatise on how to like detect and torture witches. And that book was like, I think it was like written around like also during the Renaissance period. Like it's interesting to know, but what was happening around the Renaissance and when the witch hunt really got started was that the Catholic Church at the time it was starting to disintegrate, because remember during that time King Henry VIII he said, since I can't divorce my wife because the Pope won't let me, I'm going to create my own religion. So then they just left the Catholic Church, and then Martin Luther wrote his 99 thesis. But the main reason why Martin Luther had to write that was because the Medici people had turned the Catholic Church into their personal piggy bank, and all of their cousins were just like funneling all of, like, you would give money to charity, and then they would just like take it. After a long journey, you finally reach the Throne Usurper's castle. My friend, I'd like to ask you a favor. What is it? Can I please hide? I don't want to meet with my father. Kevin, you're not up to anything sneaky, are you? All I want is to avoid unnecessary conflicts. I wouldn't want to ruin any of your plans, Your Highness. If you're afraid of your own man, that's understandable. If I remember, like Kevin said that his father murdered his mother or something like that. Yeah, I guess I would be afraid of somebody of like if your father murdered your mother over weird arbitrary reasons, or maybe the throne usurpers like a Henry VIII type of psychopath. That since he fell off his high horse and broke his leg, now all of the women that were fortunate enough to be married to him had to suffer. But he couldn't. But yeah, the point is that Henry VIII founded his own religion, and then and then Martin Luther happened, and then and also the German kings. They started moving away from like they didn't like leave the Catholic Church, but then whenever the Pope gave the German kings a suggestion on how to run their kingdom, they would say nah. And then they started to make their own demands. So since they started to grow weaker in order to inspire fear in the hearts of the people, that's when they started with like the witch hunts. Because they'd be like, oh, they're witches, and it's like scary and whatnot, and look, they're poisoning our people. We're still cool. We're still relevant. So then, that's what you do when you feel yourself threatened. You like burn people and publicly torture them in order to fight to maintain, in order to, if you can inspire people's loyalty according to Machiavelli, then you can at least force them to fear you again. So then that's when all of the witch hunts started happening, because so it was just the Catholic Church trying to maintain relevance and scaring their followers into staying in line. And they also persecuted not only witches but also scientists as well for having the nerve to think differently, and that's why we had that Copernicus. He also got in trouble with the Inquisition for having the audacity to tell them that the Earth is actually round, and I had this telescope that proves it. No, it wasn't Copernicus, it was Galileo Galilei. Copernicus did something else. But yeah. I forgot. I'm not too familiar with like the medieval scientists. I think I also like the telescope guy. Also observed. Well, since he had a better vision, he was able to see that Jupiter had moons, and a lot of them. And then he also said that the Earth was in the center of the universe. So therefore, the sense of being a competent scientist and off the went. Because that's usually how it goes. Somebody's and it's not so much that he was like teaching science per se. It was more like people are starting to pay attention to the scientist guy more than they're paying attention to us. So therefore, he has to die. Because it's all just a battle over the minds and hearts of the people and whatnot. Because that's how it rolled in medieval times. Everyone was fighting everyone for control. And even in the early Renaissance. I really don't want soldiers. And now it takes away like, now it costs like $1 million every time. You agree with Kevin's request? That makes sense. And at the end of the day, we came here to talk peace. And what are you planning to do, Kevin? I can dress up as one of our soldiers and disappear in the crowd, and that way I won't be too far from you. That's a great idea, but please be careful. Kevin nods his head and leaves. Your Highness, I think we should be cautious with Kevin. What if he... Greg, I trust him, and it's time to meet the main character. Wait, I'm not the main character? When? I thought I was the main character, since I'm the one who's playing and whatnot. I guess the one you always see in like the front cover of the game is actually King Aves and not you. And so I guess we're the antagonists in this game. Alright, why not? I'll bite. That was like one of the biggest twists in Divinity. in Divinity 2. Not the one made by the Baldur's Gate folks, but by different. It's annoying when like games have like near identical titles. It makes it hard for you to tell. It makes it difficult to talk about them. You arrive in the castle and stand face to face with your enemy Aves. Your Highness, your presence brings light to my humble dwelling. How fake. Lord Grey, you are as forthright as ever. At least I am not a wretch who betrays his own lord. Alright, time to get stabby and pointy with the end. Well, hypocrisy was part of the court culture. Like the most of the weird rules that you see in like court of etiquette and the way that you have to talk and like stand and dress and all of that. The ones who ended up the ones responsible for like 80% of those rules was the King Louis. I don't know if it was like the 14 or the 15. The guy that came before the king that got decapitated. The Sun King. So it's because in order to like increase his mystique, he started creating a bunch of rules that told people how to behave in his presence, and it started from one nitpicky thing, and then it became like a whole entire dissertation. And since like the French people back in those days, they were like the most popular and they set the fashion, other kings and queens started imitating them because when they would visit their court, they would see, oh wow, so you do all of these crazy behaviors. Oh, this looks cool. So then they adapted them, and then they made up their own rules and whatnot. How they expected the commoners to behave in their awesome presence. Like Queen Marie Antonietta, that she was from Austria, and over there they follow different court etiquettes, or not even or barely any. So then when she went to like France, she'd be like, oh my god, I gotta do all of this stuff, and whenever I'm bathing or changing, like people gotta come and watch me as if we're celebrating mass because of my position. Like she found that the entire process extremely annoying, and you can only imagine that the whole ritual of you getting dressed before you are even able to take a single bite to eat, just getting dressed and ready to go start your day, that it starts in the early morning, and then by noon you can finally like go eat a piece of bread. Like it just sounds like a hassle to have to suffer through that, like every day of your life. So yeah, you're like a queen and you're filthy rich and whatnot, but you're not. But because of court etiquette, all of your actions and even what you're allowed to talk about is predetermined. So you might as well. So just how much? You're practically not in control of your life. So you're just like in a fancy gilded cage. But yeah, it's like a nice gilded cage and whatnot. But it just sounds like a hassle to do things in the old nobility style. Like it's better to do things a la Gilgamesh style, where it's that you do whatever the hell you want until the gods come and send and create your nemesis and kick you and then force you back into line. I kind of like the Epic of Gilgamesh. Cause other than the fact that it's like the oldest epic in the history of epics, Gilgamesh is one of like the few ancient heroes and whatnot that was, yes, he was very powerful, but he was also afraid, even when but he was also experienced fear, and he would sometimes require his friend Enkiko's help in order to like get the courage to do what needed to be done. Aston spell when he hears Greg's words. All of that is just distant past. Yeah. That might be true, but I'll never forget a single day, and I hope you won't either, Aves. Your Highness, you must be exhausted after such a long journey, and I'm sure you'd like to take a rest. I wouldn't. Make me rest. It's a trap! Fly, don't eat or drink anything. I bring your own portable water, and whenever you're meeting your nemesis, like, it wouldn't have even been more perfect if he had like a cat. But then again, I'm the one with like in this game they let you have they eventually give you like a pet, and I ended up choosing a cat. And why I chose a cat? So that I can be like a James Bond villain. It just seems like it looks cool. But then again, like a dog would also be hilarious, but only if you pick that's something else. It would be fun to see like a super villain with a dog. They gotta pick like you're playing the role of super villain, you gotta like get like a very cool looking dog. Asked and the Throne Usurper treated you to a delicious dinner and offered you a resplendent chamber with a king-size bed, and thus far his efforts seem very sincere. In the middle of the night, Aves seems to have nothing but good intentions. But I'm sure you're the only one who thinks that. His true intentions are hidden behind all this facade, and we can't trust that liar. I won't repeat my father's mistake, but keep your eyes open for anything suspicious. But yeah, like I think like a people will be hilarious for like a super villain. Like people's already like famous for like biting people's faces off, but in my personal experience, people's have been one of the most chill dogs that there ever was. Not golden retrievers. They look friendly, but they bite. Oh, and then that didn't even get me started with like the demonic chihuahuas. Like the only reason why like people are more chill with the chihuahuas is that since the chihuahuas are so small, if they bite you, it's not like a big deal and whatnot. Well, it depends on the bite strength of a chihuahua. Like some may be able to like bite off the finger of a little kid or something. And since they're small dogs, naturally they have a Napoleon syndrome. And you know that Napoleon Bonaparte was constantly like fighting with everything that moves in order to prove he was awesome. Like it's funny, like Napoleon got like exiled, and then he was like left in like the middle of an island. So then he built himself a boat, and then he came back for more. The point is that if you're like, the point is that I don't quite believe in exile. like if you're gonna utterly defeat your opponent, if you leave him alive, you can like expect that he may come back later. Unless if it's like, and not only did Napoleon come back, he was able to amass an army to try to recover the place. I actually read like a little biography things about the battle in Waterloo, and about why Napoleon ended up losing the battle. Like I wrote like a whole song about it. Waterloo, I was defeated in Waterloo. But the reason why Napoleon lost in Waterloo was because like he had to like split his army in half in order to do a flanking maneuver. So then he left his most trusted, most loyal knight in charge. But the problem with a knight was with a soldier was that his trusted companion was also as thick as a brick. And because due to his high level of obedience, he literally only ever did what Napoleon asked him to do. Therefore, he had no common sense. So then Napoleon's army in one side the one that's being led by Napoleon starts getting overwhelmed. So then since since the other guy that he left in charge is waiting for orders, he didn't have the common sense to go to where Napoleon was fighting to see if he needed backup. And then since he didn't give Napoleon backup, he ended up losing the fight at Waterloo. All because he left his most trusted knight in charge. So just because the guy that you leave, just because your most trusted ally, just because you put your most trusted ally in charge doesn't mean that he's gonna do a good job. Because sometimes they just lack common sense or simple intelligence. So sometimes it's just better to take a risk on somebody that you may not 100% trust, but he has the military skills or just the mental mind necessary to take to take like the important decision when it really matters. The important decision being is giving you the backup you so desperately need, because obviously you're surrounded, so you can't tell them that you need backup because you're currently like getting like attacked on all flanks. When the night falls, Tabassi sets out and runs the castle dark corridors just like a ghost. Woo woo. Taba notices a ray of light and quietly creeps over, and there's a tiny opening in the door, which she is able to watch the scene inside, and that is Tabor is done listening, and I must immediately report to my lord. What did he hear? What did he see? Tabor, how's the peeping? Tabor, how's the peeping? That's from like one of those old movies. I forgot which one. What was that movie with the peeping meme? No, it wasn't like Stand By Me. It was it's a movie about a serial killer. But that could be any movie. Like, why do they keep making movies about serial killers? Like, Jesus Christ. You would say like that is like there's just as many serial killer movies as there are movies about sharks. Like pick a different bad guy. You know somebody, a movie that I never seen? One about a movie about arsonist. Just one about a freaking lunatic that likes to burn a lot of stuff. And it's still a movie about like criminals, which is something that people like to watch a lot, but it's a different subject. Alright, I think I ranted enough for one day, and then next time I stream this, I'll continue with the rest of the chapters if the resources allow. Because I don't think I have enough to I'm already down to 12 million troops. And like it sounds like a lot, but now every battle costs a million, so I don't think I'll be able to continue advancing with the plot that much. So I'll just say the stars for tomorrow. I hope you have fun watching and listening to my rants, and give a like and subscribe. Bye bye and God bless.